Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano live stream, and joined as usual by Paddy. We'll go through any of the latest information on Cardano. The markets have been looking a bit better in the last week or so, and anything you guys have to bring up as conversation topic, do get involved in the comments down below. Appreciate everyone sharing it out, liking the usual stuff, and getting involved. Paddy, great to have you back for another week.
All right, Paul, how's it going? I'm glad to be back, and hi everybody. And what a week it's been, hasn't it? It's been another dramatic crypto. Well, all of crypto has been sort of dramatic and entertaining this week, I think. I sent out a tweet the other day. In the bear market, we might not be getting rich, but there sure is entertainment. With the lawsuits, failures, exchange issues, token issues. There's always something going on. I'm finding it hard to keep up, but it's really entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining is one word for it, I suppose. You have everything.
That's my nice word.
Yeah, you have everything that went on with Binance and the potential impacts from that. We see Charles has had a few videos out lately on the different things impacting crypto right now. And there was a report from a law firm there. I don't know if it came out in the last few days, but it was very good. Charles has a short enough video on it, and Army of Spies covered it today as well, talking all about basically choke point 2.0 and what's going on with trying to cut off crypto from the banks. See, we have Daniel and Big Pay in the chat. Hey guys, welcome. I have to get Big Pay on some of the weeks as well, I think.
Yes, definitely. That was a great video. But everything he says rang true. It felt like it to me, but I hadn't really been talking about it, where it just feels as if it's constantly under attack. From every angle, legislation, off ramps and on ramps sort of being attacked, standard individuals not being able to use their banks, such as HSBC in the UK, are limiting the amount of funds that people who use that bank can lodge into exchanges. Who are they to tell us, what we can do with our own money? It's a bit ridiculous that the bank can do that. So, anybody who's with those banks, I would advise them to go somewhere else. It is ridiculous. And you can see, is it fear? Is it, is it they're seeing crypto is, becoming established? I don't know. It just feels they're constantly attacking it.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a fear thing. It's seeing the crypto isn't going away. Yes, prices are down a lot since the last year. Well, we're hopefully on the way back up at this point, but it definitely has to be a fear thing of losing control, because before crypto, the government had full control over everything. And if they bring in CBDCs, then I think they keep a lot of that control and potentially have even more control than they used to have with just fiat. So it's hard to know where it's going to go. But when you look at the actual banking system and probably the potentially hundreds of banks that are insolvent, if there was a bank run right now, I would say the majority of banks in the world would struggle or find it near impossible to fulfill all withdrawals. But the only ones that have been really targeted and highlighted yet are the ones with big crypto links. So it does feel like it's a targeted attack, but we'll see where it goes.
There hasn't been an exchange go down, and a bank go down in a couple of days. So it's going good. It's stable.
Yeah, it's I'd say there's some scrambling going on behind the scenes on what's the next bank that they need to keep afloat, because if it doesn't have a crypto link, then they don't want to let people see publicly that the bank is struggling, because they can't blame crypto for it. It's just it's the whole policy and the way things are going. And you see countries now are starting to look to do trades outside of the US dollar. You see some of them with the yen, and there was one today. I'll look it up when we're talking later on, but starting to lose control.
I've seen, and not for us to go down a rabbit hole on this one, it could be one for our friend Army of Spies at some point in the future. The the US dollar and and it being replaced as a world currency and stuff. But I did see a message there come up on my feed that Saudi Arabia is sort of cooperating with the sort of BRICS nation. So I don't know if they're fully committed to not using the US dollar yet, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I see Big Pay asked there. Cheers, man. I appreciate the comment and I forget even what it's called because they don't get them too often anymore, but the sponsored comment. What events are we going to this year? So the events that I know of are the Cardano Summit. That was actually announced since we done our stream last week. So the Cardano Summit this year is going to be in Dubai. And is it November 2nd to 4th? Can you remember offhand?
Oh, God. Something like that, yeah.
I'm going to look it up here because I reshared it. Yeah, the 2nd to the 4th.
Yeah, I was planning the week or 5 days at least, so I wasn't quite sure in between. I was going planning some of them in the middle of it, so.
So you're a definite for Dubai, are you?
Needs must. We have to. Hopefully, the crypto markets go up, but to be able to afford it a bit better. But it's there's a good possibility.
Yeah, I'd love to be there. I just can't fully commit yet. I hopefully will be going. Really enjoyed Switzerland last year and great to meet so many people from the community and projects and even IOG and the foundation to try and figure out where things are going and do people really believe in what's going on and what's being built. Mm-hmm. And the other ones then that are ongoing that I know of are CNFT Con. And is that one October? I will have to look that one up. And then you also have Rare Evo this year as well. Yep. So Rare Evo is in Denver, again, as far as I know, and CNFT Con is in Vegas. I don't think I will make either of them. The summit is a possibility. And if I don't make Dubai, I definitely will try and go to one of the other events for the summit.
Yeah, but I would probably be very similar. And even if I would even say usually what happens, and if people can't make it to Dubai, I know there will be ones likely hosted. Well, I'm speaking with people close to us within Ireland and England. There'll likely be something in London at the same time. I don't think there'll be anything in Dublin for that. But on the other events, I would love to go to them, but time and children is sort of impacting that. So Dubai is probably going to be the one. That I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, time and children definitely do impact it. And just for anyone who's interested in the event, you can see CNFT Con returns September 29th to October 1st, and that's in Las Vegas. Tickets are on sale now. And then you also have Rare Evo, which is the 24th to the 26th of August, and that one's in Denver. What about you, Big Pay? Are you going to any of the events this year? It was great to meet yourself in Switzerland last year as well. And then the foundation is the 2nd to the 4th of November, but not much details on that yet. Just kind of a save the date for when it does come up.
I've seen a lot of people doing promotional voucher codes for some of the events, so it might be good to look out and see. I know Hosky's been doing a few. I think a few other of the ambassadors I've seen tweets coming out. So yeah, keep an eye out to get some money off.
Yeah, I think there's generally 10% off going around for Rare Evo anyway. I'm not fully sure about CNFT Con, but I'll look into that and I'll share out if I can find any codes or anything like that for people to use. I'll share them out, or we can send them out next week when we're on the show here. Big Pay says he's worried about how expensive Dubai is going to be. Oof. Yeah, it's not going to be a cheap city. I was in it 11 years ago now on my honeymoon. So only spent a few days in it and didn't go and do a whole lot of stuff in it. But from seeing a few crypto events in it recently, and it doesn't seem that cheap. So we need a better markets.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I was worried about, and this is going to make me sound like an alcoholic, the ability to drink. Is it possible in that country, or is it in very designated locations?
As far as I remember, we were able to drink in the hotel anyway. We didn't really go out. The hotel we were in kind of had bar and restaurants and stuff, so we didn't venture too far away from that.
Okay. No, I know because of the
That's very important. You won't get it. I doubt you'll get a good Guinness there now.
No, probably not. Probably not. But it's probably on my list of criteria. But it'll make me sound bad saying it. But I got to be honest. But, yeah, I remembered someone had said to me that the hotels, you could drink in the hotels. So it's likely the event will probably the party. There's got to be a party, doesn't there? You got to have another
There has
party.
to be, yeah. On CBDCs, more of a pipe dream that cannot last. I think they're going to be a lot more than a pipe dream. I think they will come in some shape or form, but what exact form they're going to come in at, or what kind of power they will have, is yet to be defined, and it will be different country to country as well. I think every country will have their own rules, and it's up to people who understand all of this and the potential problem with them to get involved and make sure that they don't have too much power over your money, because they're trying to shape them after cryptocurrencies. But the big difference is how centralized they are, and someone can always stop your money, or if we see on social media, people get deplatformed, where they're kicked off social media. If you come out and you say something that you shouldn't and you get deplatformed, then does that mean your bank account can also be frozen and your money stopped? So I think they will come in, but we just have to see what shape or form they are.
Yeah. We touched on the UK one. You remember I brought up I'm going to call it their white paper, which is obviously their PDF explaining the UK version of their central bank digital currency. They explicitly state that it is non-programmable. Do I believe them? No. It's going to be interesting to see. They have put on a limit. I think you will only be able to spend 20,000 per day, which again I think is ridiculous. If it's your money, why can't you do whatever you want with it? That is controlling. That is programmability, is it not? But they say they don't have programmability. And the last I seen, and we'll have to check it out again, they were hiring for I'm going to call it their CEO of their crypto division to run and manage that. So, and the pay wasn't great for that level of job. So I don't know how many people they would get for it.
Or it's all the bribes you could get as well.
Well, the other side of it is, if you set it up and you're involved in it, you become quite powerful. So it could be a good job to springboard from. That's what I would say people might think about. It's a massive project, and massive technically, that project. But the UK government seems to be going ahead with it. I haven't seen them putting the brakes on yet, and I feel as if they might be the first country to go for it, specifically because Rishi Sunak is quite pro crypto, and he was the Chancellor of the Exchequer when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. So that's when he was pushing through a lot of the crypto stuff. So now that he's Prime Minister, I'd say a lot of it will continue on. So don't be shocked if they're the first country to roll out. And I would say what they do might be, very similar. The US would probably copy. The EU, they like to do things a bit slower. And they also like to have 100,000 people vote on it in terms of their EU Parliament people, and everybody then make changes. But I would say it would still be quite similar. So I would say that would be the first flavor and sort of the foundation as well. I don't know what's their plans. I think I'd seen a few different people talk about it, like 2025. But we'll see. It will be interesting. I'm not against them. I just don't like there being rules around them. And that's what annoys me, because I feel as if I should be able to do what I want with my funds. So
yeah, I think they're inevitable. It just depends on what form they actually come in at. Another event we forgot, not Cardano specific, but Consensus. I didn't realize actually it was this month. So that's one definitely won't be there this year, but maybe next year. It's an event I'd love to go to. It has all of crypto there, and it gives you a very good overview of what's going on. Big Bay says you get CNFTCon and the summit as well.
Where is Consensus again?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's the one where there was a massive Cardano audience attended, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know they're not doing the big Cardano event this year. IOG had organized a huge crypto part to it last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's happening this year now.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Okay.
So
Well, anyways,
let's just see what else I missed before we jump into anything else here. Because if we do, I'll lose track. Are you familiar with Paribus? They touted themselves as built for the Cardano community, but they just went live on Arbitrum for V1 mainnet launch. I did see today that they announced going live on Arbitrum, and they have Cardano somewhere in the roadmap. But I think we were going to talk about not Paribus, but talk a bit about different projects and how they tout being for Cardano, but end up just moving somewhere else. Yeah. And are you familiar with Paribus? I know they're cross-chain lending and borrowing platform, but I haven't dug much into them yet.
No, I think I've definitely heard the name. And if you're, we'll come on to a few later on that sort of topic.
Okay, let me see. I think there was some. Yeah, so I think this is in around what we're going to talk about in a few minutes anyway, about interoperability and is there projects just extracting value from the Cardano community? In short, I think yes, there are some projects that are just here to take as much money out of the ecosystem and move off somewhere else. There are others who do genuinely try and build, don't get as much funding as they need because it is expensive to build on Cardano, and it's definitely not as easy as it is to build on some of the other chains right now. In time, hopefully we should be there as well. But we will talk about that in a few minutes. Crazy Crypto says, well, what pissed him off is that at the moment banks are blocking him sending money to exchanges to protect his money, but doing nil about transfers to William Hill.
Oh, yeah.
So you can send your money off to a betting platform, no problem at all, but you can't make an investment in cryptocurrency. It doesn't really make that much sense.
No. I was in Bristol, was it say about 6 months ago, in a casino, drinking, do whatever I was doing, could take as much money out as I want, gamble it away as much as I want. Nobody can say or do anything. But I can't put it into an exchange, so putting it into crypto is riskier than me going up to a roulette table. It's ridiculous, really.
Yeah, Enoch says about Rare Evo not getting much traction. I haven't heard anything. I don't think they'll be cancelled. I will look into the different events by next week and maybe even be able to get a video put together with some of the different event organizers to have a chat about what's going on with the different events this year and hopefully help them get a bit of light into what they're doing at each event. I don't know about Paribus. Enoch Kerr says Paribus a scam in his opinion. They used Cardano community for nearly 2 years. Wouldn't give them a penny. Again, that I look into them and see what the story is for next week. And maybe even by Friday's update video, I might be able to put something into that as well. Yeah, they were funded by C Fund. I seen when they announced the V1 today that they did tout that about that they had investment from C Fund. Strike 2 for C Fund. I don't know. I know that they aren't really investing in anything at the minute because I've seen lots of projects saying that they can't get money. When World Mobile launched the Aerostat balloon, Tanzania, as far as I know, everything is ready to go on the World Mobile side from the last I heard. It's just waiting on all the official sign-off. Have you heard anything else, Paddy?
Nothing new. I think based off what they were saying in last week's Spaces, is that everything is ready. They're basically waiting on governmental confirmation to be able to let loose, basically. So it's one of those things. It's red tape, and I hope it doesn't take too long. But they seem pretty bullish on it. And there's a lot of things that they're pretty bullish on at the minute. So I'm looking forward to. And there was a bit of a tweet from their main Twitter account, I think yesterday, saying a lot of things are coming this week, or maybe there's going to be some announcements this week. So I would keep an eye out. I don't know what that is. It could be anything. I did see another tweet relating to Airnode sort of purchasing and setup, so that could be what it's related to. But based on their spaces, I believe it's going to be soon. But who knows?
Yeah, I've seen that tweet actually, but I haven't seen any news come out yet this week. They said this week would be big for news, but I know there's that paper is meant to be coming out about the network Earth node operators, isn't it? They are talking about changing the consensus mechanism on the sidechain that they're using and a few other bits there. So last week in the AMA, they said that will be coming out in a few days. So kind of any day now, we'll hopefully get that.
The details on that aren't fully out there yet, but in short, and not for me to go down a rabbit hole on it, but the Cosmos SDK sidechain toolkit, there's sort of a limitation of around 250 nodes. Now, the World Mobile Network is planning to have 1,000. And the 250 part would limit the scale, plus also the Cosmos SDK gets quite slow. When it gets there and around that level. When I slow, it's still only a couple of seconds, but they want to be as fast as possible. So they are developing a new consensus mechanism, that's with IOG. So that will be very interesting to see. So you can see it's already migrating a bit from what the original SDK that they were planning to use is. So it's sort of something new. I'm really interested to see what they do release. It's going to be very interesting, and technically, it's going to be interesting also.
Yeah, hopefully by next week that might be out, and we might be able to dive a bit into that and see what's going on with it. So just finishing up on the events, then Big Pay says, well, Consensus was the best event he's been to, and doesn't think. Yeah, I don't think the Cardano turnout will be near as good this year. It looked like a massive turnout last year. From all the videos going around, you could see the Cardano booth was just absolutely packed for the whole event. And then I think it was a pre-event with Cardano as well. Unfortunately, I doubt it will be near the Cardano turnout, but it is an event I'd love to get to at some point for that overall, to see what's going on across the industry and not just in one specific chain.
Yep, definitely.
John says about Hydra. So is this on our list for tonight?
Yeah, we'll touch on a bit of it near the end, but the main thing is it's on mainnet, and there's a video they released on their March sort of catch up. So let's go take snippets of it. If we don't cover it, we'll probably just tweet it out. And it's a good watch.
I think actually Cardano 360 tomorrow, there is probably going to be someone from the Hydra team on that as well. So make sure you check that out. And there's a few other things on 360 tomorrow about cross-chain with one chain and that. And we might touch on that as we go here. I think I'm coming to the end of the announcements. The announcement from Genius Heal, they're launching a Polygon before. I didn't see that now. I see. Yeah. Did you see that one?
Yeah, it's a Genius on Polygon and someone else. Was there not someone else going to Polygon? Hold on. This could be part of my news articles that I'm covering. Let me refresh.
I know Genius put out the announcement today about the PAB, the Plutus backend, that they are launching it as open source for any project to build, which will really help projects building on Cardano.
Oh no, I was going to talk about CardaShift going to Polygon. That's what I'll cover later.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't actually personally hear that they're moving to Polygon.
Well, let me rephrase then. They are also releasing on Polygon, which is the correct, nice terminology to use. You can interpret that in any way you want. It feels a bit, are they leaving? Are they not leaving? Well, we'll go into it. I'll give my opinion later.
Yeah, I've got an opinion on that as well, but we'll leave that until we come to it. Indigo Labs, there's a project that definitely launched on Cardano first and has been doing very well. Seen a tweet today or yesterday, kind of losing track, about 2 years since they started on Cardano. So congratulations and thank you for building a really good product on top of Cardano.
Awesome.
So saying about CF said about the summit in Dubai that big things will be announced in Dubai. We'll wait and see. Hopefully we'll hear a few bits before that. Lace, I don't think Lace is just as big as lots of people make it out to be. I think great, we're going to have another wallet, but we have a lot of wallets already on Cardano. And I know there's different things with the App Store and how you'll have trusted apps and stuff like that. And we'll see how it plays out. I think it definitely will be good. It will be a quality wallet. And I know it's planning to use Mithril as well, isn't it? That it can use snapshots. So it's a light client, but it has lots of the features of a full node wallet. When it does come out, we'll definitely cover it and it will be good to see. But I would say things like scalability and everything around that would be far higher priority for me, or that's the type of stuff I'd be more excited about, and tooling to help developers build.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd love to see a fiat on-ramp with it to skip me needing to use an exchange. That would be one feature I'd like, and that would be different compared to what all the other wallets have. If it simply has everything that Eternal and Nami and Flint and what everybody else is working on, well, it's not going to excite me an awful lot. You know, I would really like more. I know a lot of people are going to be interested to view their NFTs and stuff. That's one thing within their wallet, and sort of I think more. It needs more. You know, it can't be the same with what we got. I know it's going to be good to have, that's for sure, and it's definitely going to be anything's better than Daedalus, but yeah, I don't want it to just be exactly the same. So I'm hoping. I've got high expectations, and just so that it is a lot better.
Yeah, I see. Actually, I was just going to say that, but it came up in the comments there about Eternal has a fiat on ramp. It says they never used it. I know Yoroi is the same, but they're just plugged into credit card features where you can use your credit card to buy crypto. And I think you have to generally use KYC on them as well. Mm-hmm. I can't see the fiat on ramp. I'm not sure how, if or how Lace are going to do it different than that. If they're going to have bank accounts linked into it, then that would be a great feature to have. USDA will be another potential on ramp for people where you will be able to put your dollars into a bank through Ansense, which is from Emergo, and you get USDA stablecoin, and then you can use that to buy crypto at that point. So that would be another good on ramp that won't be directly an exchange. I think I've kind of caught up on comments. C. Allen says mention the market's going green. Is this just in the short term? I think we're going to touch on that. So in 1 minute, that's one of your firsts.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it is.
Opinions, that's going to come up now in a few minutes as well. There's been a good few comments on that, on projects moving, jumping to Polygon, not just Polygon, to other chains too. And is there a single wallet that you can keep all your crypto in? I would say if you just want one single wallet, the best one to get would be a hardware wallet, something like Ledger. Then you can use Ledger Live and you can store multiple different cryptos on the one wallet. If you want something like a soft wallet where it isn't a hardware wallet, personally, Exodus would be one of the main ones that I would use or have used down through the years, where you can have multiple different cryptos on the one wallet. But if you can, I would say a hardware wallet is the best one. Any changes to that, Paddy?
No, I would agree.
And let's jump into your first topic.
Cool. So I didn't want to come across as superly bullish on this. And you know, and say we're back in a bull market, blah blah. It's time to go. So I wanted to start off zoomed out because I don't think some people do that sometimes. You can see where we've come from and where we are now. I had loads of my probably wrong charts that I put in here and trading tools and stuff, so it's clear. And I'm not going to put any in because I don't want to give anybody sort of financial advice per se. So, but from here, you know, it looks horrible. And we did go through a very, very horrible time over the past couple of months. You know, it was rough, and it has been rough. And it's good to see a bit of green and hope come maybe twice in the past 3 months. Was this one? I think this one was around January, and you know, or March. You know, so it's good. Where are we going from here? I could give my prediction or my sort of thoughts. What do you think, Paul? Is that something we should do? It's again, it's not advice.
Yeah, I think everyone's open to, anyone can give opinions on the market, and that's just what they are. It's not financial advice, not telling people where it's going to go. It's your opinion on what you think is next.
My opinion from here is around between 30 and 40% price increase over the next 2 months for ADA. Well, for most crypto, I believe. If there's no other craziness going on, like another exchange going down, or banks probably help a little bit with crypto. But if things sort of stay a bit normal, and I don't know what normal is in crypto, but if things stay a bit normal, it should go in that direction. And if we get into a point where the 0.25 basis points raise becomes a 0, that's a very, very strong indicator in the next Fed meeting. So keep an eye on them, keep an eye on the UK government and the EU. If they all start sort of getting in line with, okay, we're not going to increase rates anymore. And I'm guessing they won't. And it sort of stops that trend. We will see crypto increasing in price. So I'm hoping for around a 40% within the next couple of months. Who knows? It might go down 100% tomorrow, but that's just what I think. And you know, I wanted to bring this up, and why I wanted to zoom out, because this has been rough, you know, and it's going through this. You've got your bear market scars now, if you've done that, and you're still here from whenever you bought, or even if you're from way back here, you know, you've got multiple scars. But this one has been pretty rough, and I would say a lot of people have been hurting from this, and I feel for you. But who knew what was going to happen in the world to make it, you know, worse than expected. So the second part of this was, I had seen some, you know, I seen a tweet where people believing that, you know, Cardano was showing signs of strength of decoupling. And I do not agree with it. The reason why I don't, and it's a very simple thing to check. If it was decoupling massively, then sorry, I just wanted to bring up. So this was a sort of sentiment. I've seen a few tweets, and I also seen a few web articles doing the same thing, where they believe in that.
You just zoom in on your screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me. Sorry.
Just with sometimes Twitter can be, yeah, that's a bit better.
So I believe that people were saying, you know, we're decoupling. Cardano's going to go off on its own now. It's got all these projects and stable coins and great FT, and it does. It has DeFi and it has all these things, and it's awesome. But I don't think it's going to go on a massive decoupling run yet. And there's a few factors in that. But for the minute, I think it will be very closely tied to what's happening with Bitcoin. It's fact. And to show that, I can share this tab. This is our ADA BTC chart, and this is very much where we see if there's any decoupling going on. And at the minute, there's a little bit of green. I'm not saying that couldn't turn around and be the start of it, or it might go down even further. Who knows? You never know what the market's going to do. But I don't think decoupling is on the horizon just yet. It would take something amazing to happen within the Cardano ecosystem, and I don't know what that could be, but crypto amazes you every day. So that's just my 2 points on what's been going on, Paul, and my sort of prediction and a wee bit of analysis. I didn't add any lines and stuff in here to go over different things, because everybody draws those.
Yeah, I don't see us decoupling anytime soon. We might start to get a bit of a run against Bitcoin, but we're due to regain some sats. For me, I follow the sats chart more than the actual US dollar chart. So I watch Bitcoin, and then I watch how the likes of ADA or other coins are doing against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin will generally be the leader within the market. If you look at, I'll show you here. I won't stay long on charts though, so I know not everyone likes this type of stuff. But like, that's the ADA BTC chart on the daily. You can see it's been a serious downtrend. Bit of a reprieve here in the last week or the last week and a half. Still not huge. We're definitely due a bit of a bounce. Until we would start to get up somewhere here, then I'm not really going to read too much into it. I'm watching Bitcoin to see how Bitcoin goes. These lines are the lines that I've had on the chart for, I don't know, months at this stage, probably over a year, some of them from way back here. But for me, this is the important level from a technical side. There's so much going on outside of just looking at levels for Bitcoin right now. You mentioned the rates and stuff like that. Rates, if there's a rate hike, a 50-point hike next month, could send everything tanking down. If we got a 0, if we didn't get a rate hike, then you could see the markets really push to the upside. From a technical side, this here is the level that was our support for so long, between 28 and 31. If we can get back into this and turn this into support again rather than resistance, like if you look all the way back here, this is the level for Bitcoin that held us up in the last bull market. This is where we always got our buying pressure to push the market back up, got stuck in it here, and then just fell below it. So we've been in it since June last year. So this for me is an important level. If Bitcoin gets above here, I would expect ADA and most of the coins to lose out against Bitcoin in the short term, because if Bitcoin goes on a run, people are going to FOMO into that. If Bitcoin gets rejected at this level, then potentially some of the money that's in Bitcoin will flow into the altcoins with Cardano. I know people don't like calling ADA an altcoin, but just in terms of this, into other coins that aren't Bitcoin, then you would see some of the money from Bitcoin. If Bitcoin started to pull down here, you would see the dominance chart, which is the market against Bitcoin. So how much of the funds in the market is in Bitcoin versus the rest. You can see over the last few months, everyone's been falling back into Bitcoin rather than into altcoins in the market. At this point, if Bitcoin got rejected around this 29K level, then I would expect dominance to start to fall a bit and the money to start to flow back into alts. But there's a lot of macro stuff going on. We have to wait and see. As for ADA decoupling, I'm going to wait and see. I don't see any one thing big enough right now to make ADA run on its own outside of the rest of the market. There just isn't anything there. And like that, I don't see, if you go around every individual chain, I don't think there's much in any chain right now to make the coin run outside of what the rest of the market is doing, apart from following the overall flow of the market, the overall flow of FOMO.
Not yet. And they're all painting similar patterns. But I just want to say, I'm going to text Rick McCracken and tell him that you said Cardano was an altcoin. He'll send you some lovely pictures on the definitions of alts.
Yeah. I knew as I was about to come out of my mouth, I was like, shouldn't say this. 40K Bitcoin by May. What are we now? Just nearly coming into April. If we got a rate cut, I don't think we're getting a rate cut in April. If we got a rate cut, 40K isn't out of the question, but it would take something fairly substantial to push us up like that. And then you have what's going on with Coinbase and the SEC, and you also have Binance with what's going to come there. We don't know how that case is going to go. One that's interesting is XRP has been making some good moves over the last 2 weeks or so. So the speculation is that insiders knowing what's going on with the court case, is it actually going good now? There was fears at one point, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, that things weren't going too well and they might have to settle or they might lose. But over the last 2 weeks, the speculation has been that things are positive there. If that case came back positive for XRP, then that would, or for Ripple, that would be really good for crypto overall. So I'm not a holder of XRP, but I still want them to win that case, because if they don't, it sets bad precedent for the rest of crypto. 150 by June, not financial advice. I'd take 150. I think it's a fair stretch right now, unless things really change in the market. Thoughts on Hydra heads? We're going to come to Hydra in a few minutes. I don't know the huge deep down on Hydra. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll finish the markets and then we'll come back to that. Price predictions for the top of the next bull run. It's very hard to call.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
The big things that I want to see for coming into the next bull market is probably the JED and USDA more bad English, but used more by a lot more projects, and maybe even used on other chains. That would be quite significant. Especially JED. I know there is murmurings that they're getting other enterprise users, so it'll be interesting to see what that's going to be. But those type of things will help push, as well as general Cardano popularity. You know, with more projects releasing, a lot more people are using the chain, a lot more people are using the projects, and the applications on there. So with that growing, it could be anything. You know, we got to what, $3 roughly? Was it 3 something? I should know.
Yeah, 312, I think, was something around the top.
Yeah, and realistically, and I don't think we're ever not going to break it again. That's my best way of giving a prediction.
Yeah, I've been very not giving anything away there. Yeah, it's to me, we have to break the all-time high at least in the next one. Enoch says there about based on new highs for TVL, could see it above $5 easily. If things keep going on track, we get more projects launching, DeFi really kicks off into the next bull run, you could see FOMO alone should bring the price up to a new all-time high. $5, yeah, for me, it should be possible. Obviously, everyone bets on what you think yourself. I would say DCA, whatever you think the highest price it's going to get to, start setting your sell orders lower than that at increments. The same way I talk about doing it when the market's down, you DCA in, you don't ever all go in case the markets keep falling. So you do the same going out of a market as well. And for me, I'll be setting them all the way up to maybe $10. I don't think we hit $10 in this next bull market at all, but I'll be setting my orders all the way up that far, because if we start getting that high, I'm willing to sell off a bit more of the portfolio at them kind of prices, because it will always come back down in the next cycle. And if the last bull and bear cycle has proven anything, it is that we will have another bear market. Even if we do go and set new highs, we're going to have another bear market as well. Thoughts on Teddy Swap? Don't know much about it. I will put it on my list to look into. Anything from you on that one, Paddy?
No, I know they're trying to be very open and inclusive, which is good to see, and having people run part of the network and stuff for them that might need run. So it's an interesting project.
If you can get Saudi government issuing bonds on the network, the world will change. BRICS nations can use a peer-reviewed money replacement, the best decoupling scenario. Seen Charles talked about one of the recent videos, probably 2 weeks ago, where he talked about that things like that, bringing bonds onto the crypto markets will really take away a lot of power from the banks and from the governments. So definitely will bring a lot more eyes on crypto, a lot more scrutiny on it as well, but can give a lot of the power back, and power that can't be taken away too easily then. If we break 30K this weekend, look out for a major spike next week. I'd agree. If we can break 30K, then definitely potential for a bigger spike. I'll bring your screen back up, Paddy, if you want to look for whatever's next.
Dead on. Okay. I just had a bit of yeah. So just to focus on a little bit more on Cardano for the minute, is the midnight sort of layer 2 is getting traction, and so the big news was a new CEO. So I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's a good read. So Aaron Barak is the new CEO of Midnight. He's got a very, very good CV, I would say. So he's been a few different places, and been a good, successful organization. So it's going to be awesome to see what he brings to that. I was trying to find him on Twitter. So if anybody can find him on Twitter, you could please like me so I can link him. But I don't know if he's on it. Is that a red flag? Is he a real person? If you're not on Twitter, are you real these days? So yeah, I'm looking forward to midnight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it brings to Cardano. So the reason why I'm highlighting this is I have plans for us to talk about it in the future. So it was just a good way to link it in to say we've started to put the feelers in, do the research, and we'll be looking into it and discussing it more in the next couple of weeks, and trying to gather what we know is out there, and telling everybody about it.
Yeah, I think I hadn't heard of the guy before I seen the announcement of his appointment, but from looking at his track record, he has a track record of building companies up from very small to, I think the one I seen was like up to 700 employees, and he's a good guy to bring in with real non-crypto experience into it, and hopefully he can bridge a lot of the gaps there. So Midnight is something we haven't got a huge amount of information on yet. So it's one I think could have massive potential in being a privacy-focused sidechain for Cardano. Doesn't mean that it's something like Monero, where it's never going to be Monero where everything is fully private. But when you look at Cardano with a public blockchain, it means that every single transaction can be seen on the chain. Something like Midnight, the transactions could be, the general public can't view them, but you can let people see your transaction history if you want to do it. So I think that's a very good solution to have.
I feel like calling it private, you know, and rather than, and that's sort of what I feel it's doing. It's more, you're hiding, you're not hiding, but it's keeping your privacy. In this day and age, privacy is a big thing. It's more not to purposely hide everything you're doing, but it's more that you have that sense of privacy, and it can be used by companies or applications, or governments, where they need to do things in a private manner, but they also have the ability where if they're being audited by X, Y, or Z, they can provide the data. So that's where I see it, and it's a good case. You know, it's a good niche. You know, these are the things we got to fill in. So yeah, not Monero, but I believe it's a good niche to be targeting. So yeah, that's all I had on it. It was just to really start us on that path, and we'll bring it up over the next couple of weeks, and delve into different aspects of it, as I think it's going to start moving a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think it definitely has a good use case. It's like you're paying someone. If we get to the stage, if you're going into a shop and you're using ADA to pay, whatever wallet you pay from, then anybody who you pay can track back your wallet and see kind of everything that's in it, or check out your other transactions. With something like Midnight, then the person you're paying on a daily basis couldn't track your wallet, but you would have, I think you would have a key that you could give to someone else, like a public key, that they can check out your transaction history then and see what's going on if you need to be audited, or if you need someone to be able to track it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out on that. Just on other, before this was related to the last one, I'd like to get pick your brain on this one. Not financial advice, but are you picking up Cardano projects like C3, or sticking to picking up main event ADA during the bear?
I do have this as my next topic. Convenient. So I can share this tab. So my opinion on this is no. And the reason why is because you could sort of treat it like the money is going to flow into Cardano over the next couple of months, until that gets to a point where it has peaked. The money will reflow into all of the Cardano tokens. Now you will see some of them, but why I brought up the chart today, you can see Cardano has been increasing in price. All of the tokens on Cardano are decreasing in their value to Cardano. So that's what you need to be thinking about when you're trading these things. You can buy some and have some for long term, hoping that they're going to, you know, multiply by, I don't know, any number of percentage. I do hold One Mobile. I do hold a few others. I do hold a bit of Min, you know, but I'm not betting on them massively right now. And the reason why is exactly what I said. Cardano is going to go up. Then I feel as if the money will flow into all of the Cardano tokens. And I can be totally proven wrong. Some of these things, based on big news, they will take off. you know, Singularity Net and Ben is due on BitBoy's show. I can't remember the date. It's soon. That could be enough to, you know, get more people interested in that whole area, and more of the AI tokens might take off again. And AI is massive at the minute, so there is ones that will be different. But in general, I'm going to wait a bit, let my ADA, you know, get more valuable than these tokens, and then redistribute into some of these. That's just what I'm doing. You know, it might not be the best play. You know, it might be a terrible play. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd agree on that. That right now, a lot of the funds, like I talked about, the funds go into Bitcoin first, Bitcoin runs, and then that goes into the likes of Cardano and other coins then. And then I would expect some of the money, if people make profits with ADA, then it can go into some of the other coins or tokens that are on Cardano. Now, obviously, there's going to be outliers in that. Individual projects, if they have something going on, then you take the likes of World Mobile. If they coming up to their mainnet launch, I would expect a surge in the price there. Disclosure, I own a decent sum of World Mobile, and I will be an Earthnode operator. You're going to be an Earthnode operator as well. But that's what I plan to hold longer term. And right now, I kind of have as much of it as I want and getting more every month with staking. And I plan to hold that for the longer term for the potential I see. Kopi is another one that I hold a decent amount, not a massive bag, but a decent amount at this point. Got in very early into it, plan to hold it for another while. That is a bet on gaming kicking off and the quality of what we've seen from them so far. Outside of that, I own bits of other tokens, but there's none that I'm specifically watching right now, trying to pick up. It's more I'm watching the market at a higher level. If some of the individual projects have launches coming up or some big events, then I'll try and get in maybe early on maybe a quick flip trade more than a long-term play right now. So for me, it would be more short-term plays than longer-term plays. Until we see, look, there's going to be outliers. Some projects could announce something next week that they're building for the next year, and that could change my perspective on it. And that's, markets are ever changing.
Mainnet releases are pretty, they're pretty good hype, you know. That would be my only thing that would people to keep an eye out for. Something's coming close to mainnet. You can usually do well prior, but after it'll go down and then find its value. Look at I would say if you want to look at what happens for a mainnet release and what happens to a token value, look at min, especially if you think it's going to be a successful project. So that just gives someone a bit of something to look at to try and base off.
Yeah, min is the one that has been bringing new changes into what they're doing. You can see all of last year, it was just basically down, down, down because they just had yield farming and it was just putting more supply into the market all the time. So the market was heading down. But over the last, I suppose since January this year, I think, yeah, you can see the big turning point there where last year they were yield farming, they were giving out tokens for free, and there was no reason for people to hold the token. But now they've started to give people confidence in what the project is doing. They're taking part of the fees and building up the ADA LP pair or ADA min LP pair. So it gives a lot more depth and a lot more liquidity to the market. So people are getting confident in it, and things like that can definitely help the prices move up too. So there's always outliers.
I can't remember their release date, but I'm going to guess, and I'm happily to be proven wrong, that it was the 14th of November. Who knows? It might or might not be. I cannot remember fully.
I think min was well before that.
What was it?
I would say back towards March, April timeframe last year. I can't remember offhand, but you can see the bit of green there on the chart.
Yeah,
back in April, is that?
Maybe this one?
Yeah, keep going back.
July 22?
Yeah, back a few more months. Yeah, I'd say March, April was their launch.
Okay, yeah.
People got confident, and then they got yield farming rewards, and it started to...
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
That's what I wanted to cover on that. It was basically just to, and it was good. That was a good layup, that question. You think I staged that? But yeah, and that's what I would do. We're giving, who knows when it'll flip? Who knows? That's always the hard bit.
These comments from John were just about voting, and I presume it's kind of tailored in around voting through the blockchain. He says, imagine being able to vote using your cell phone, utilizing the most advanced secure authentication technology, several authenticators such as fingerprint and retina. I'm not sure, do you mean linking that all in for on-chain voting rather than people turning up and people voting in multiple jurisdictions and stuff like that? If we can get it onto blockchain and everyone is verified by some of the methods you mentioned there, then it means everyone gets one vote and there's full transparency. There's no messing around on voting. And he's saying about it in America or any country, that blockchain definitely is built for voting. The full transparency that you have there, immutability, no one can go in and change it. There can be no saying, oh, this vote was wrong or that vote was wrong. It's all there and nobody can actually change.
Yep.
And this one, this was related to Midnight, saying only a sense of privacy. This is the definition of money, has to be regulated, or has to be regulated even if the laws are mostly hypocritical. Yeah, I think any fully private chain is always kind of looking over their shoulder in terms of their targets for the government. They don't like people to have be fully able to hide everything they do. But something like Midnight is a solution in the middle that I think can satisfy all angles on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. They hit Monero. There's no point building another one.
Now, Monero, brilliant cryptocurrency, a brilliant technology. It's one that I'm glad that we have out there. I know it can be used, like anything, can be used for good and bad. But I think it's an incredible technology and what they've been able to build.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the governments just won't accept.
No.
Well, the US government, which are currently pretty much anti-crypto everything at the minute, but they were one of the first things a good while ago that they totally dislike because they hate not having control.
Yeah. Saying there about, does AGX have anything like ChatGPT for consumer adoption? I don't know a huge amount about AGIX, and I know that they're the center of the Singularity net ecosystem. They have multiple different coins off that. You have NewNet, which was the first one to launch. I think Hypercycle is another one. Rejuve is one based on the healthcare system that came out only in the last week or so. So it's a video that I need to sit down and do on that whole ecosystem. I'm not sure the individual projects outside of being a marketplace that AGIX have. I don't know if you have any other info on that.
I just know price has gone up. That's it. It's in that brand of AI is popular. So it's sort of feeding off that. But I don't expect them not to release good products. So yeah, I know NewNet. I'd looked into that. That's a good product. I'm looking forward to that. But the AGIX in itself, I'm not overly familiar what they're doing with it.
Yeah, NewNet's one that has good potential in what they're trying to do. We've seen other ones in other decentralized file storage, but with NewNet, it's more on processing power. And I'm not fully sure where AI comes into it, as that helps optimize all of the power or processing power that they can use, but it's on the list.
Yeah.
Other ways, other decoupling scenarios, war bonds being issued over blockchains or issued by aggressor nations to fund war with public support by war bonds was big before. Not something I've seen before or read into in history, but
yeah, it's something they did in the likes of World War II. I don't know, and I think they did it in the US a few other wars. Definitely World War II. Basically, general public can buy bonds off the government and take part in bond purchasing. Which, one, you're supporting the war, and two, then you'll get back an income or a profit whenever the government pays you out on your bond. Hope we don't see that, because that could mean there's something really bad going on in the world, and I hope we don't have that scenario. It's one big war is enough to destabilize the whole world at the minute between two countries. I don't want to see any more. So that's what I would hope for. So
I think another major world war is kind of end of days type scenario with how advanced they've all got from World War One and Two, but that's definitely outside the scope of our crypto and Cardano updates.
we'll have a AI war based off what's coming. Right. So do you want me to go through a few other topics? I've got a couple actually.
Yep. Okay. Well, I was saying that this will be a short one. We're already 1 hour in.
Well, I got a few on Cardano, so I'll go through these quick enough, and then we'll jump into a bit of a side topic discussion. So let me share this. We have
actually on buying in a shop with ADA in the near future. There, you can kind of do it now with different debit cards, the likes of Binance of a debit card, that if you store ADA in your account, that at the checkout when you go to pay, it sells the ADA and you can use it there. But actually using ADA in shops, I don't know.
And I would love to see a project being able to do that outside of the big exchanges, but I believe a Visa, it's very expensive to get that integration. I think it's like $1 million to be able to do that and be able to run those cards and have them all integrated and linked up, and that's a minimum from what I've been told. So it wouldn't be cheap. It would be something that would have to be heavily financed to try and get something done from a sort of on-chain, decentralized sort of group style set of people rather than, all of our DEXs. But anyways, I'm digressing.
Right.
So Genius Shield. Those guys have released the Atlas, which is their, I don't know if everybody remembers, not too long ago, the big key buzzword was PAB, sort of Plutus application backend. So they've open sourced Atlas, which is their own variant. So it's good to see from them, and did they have to do it? No. So it's good for those guys to have released it. So I know they work with Lars and they work with a few other people within the community and different agencies like M Labs. So they have released this, and I'm hoping it will be of great use to other development teams within the ecosystem. Some of the topics that it covers is transaction building and transaction balancing. So it's going to be useful for other people. And I know there is still bit and pieces of grumbling about, the PAB and the issues around it. So hopefully this helps. And this is a good sign, so it's all well and good, the Cardano ecosystem relying on IOG. But if others can contribute and help make everybody's life a little bit easier, that's sort of what we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this was the big thing that everyone was waiting for. Was it well over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point, where it was the PAB was the big thing holding everything up, and then the PAB kind of died away. And I don't know if IOG stopped developing on it or started working on something else, but some projects built their own. I think MinSwap, SundaeSwap, different projects built their own version of the PAB. But having something like this now that is open source for projects is brilliant. It's a very good starting point for a lot of projects and saves them having to try and create their own, that they can get on to building their own dApps and their own features. So it's congratulations to everyone involved. I think, did it say Genius Yield and M Labs and a few others worked on it?
Yeah, awesome. It's really awesome. And then you can see it's helping World Mobile. World Mobile is going to have a massive infrastructure, and this is going to be one part of it, and it's probably helping those guys accelerate. So thanks, Genius.
Yeah, great to see. It's a good step for developers.
So where we going?
Just on that, I was just reading up there. Someone mentioned about Genius going to Polygon, but I found the article on that. It's, as far as I've seen, it's not Genius Yield that's going to Polygon. It's their launchpad, Genius X, that they're going to be allowing projects to launch on Polygon as well. So it's not Genius Yield as far as everything I've been able to see there that's moving to Polygon, which is good.
Well, there you go. You've just teed me up again. So I wanted to share and talk about, Cardiff Shift, and which are now Arable, sort of doing the same thing. And my start to that would be is I don't see a problem with projects being multi-chain. I think it's awesome. I think they should, and I think they should have an ecosystem that supports both chains and their application is usable across both chains. That's awesome. If you have, it would be like having a clothing store and you can only use ADA on it. It just wouldn't be right. So it's good to see, more possibilities happening within some of these projects. And I was sent the Cardiff Shift one today, and people aren't overly happy about this one. And I knew I'd seen the Genius one. Is it Gen X? Yeah. You can see why they would be doing that. They're more of a launchpad style project. So the more ecosystems are in, the more projects they can help launch. Cardiff Shift, a lot of people are unhappy with because in my own opinion, I don't think they've delivered enough on the Cardano side. That's just my opinion. I think they would probably best off still focusing on the Cardano side and making something successful there. But who am I to know what's the best path for that company? And if you go through the tweets on this one, there's a lot of how can I say, rugs placed in there. Do I think it is? I do and I don't, but I don't want to fully, start slating people for, a business decision they're making. It's probably going to be just fine. I don't know.
Cross-chain interoperability, that's the future. It's not going to be one chain. So projects going across multiple chains, to me, is a good thing. Not every project needs to be cross-chain. Some of them are just built for one chain. But a lot of them, if you want to bring in a massive user base, then they will be looking at allowing people on multiple chains to use them. And going into the future, there'll be lots of people using crypto that won't know what chain they're using, and it's all in around the interfaces that can be built to make that as easy as possible. Projects that, so going across multiple chains is okay, and projects that have started out building on Cardano, if they deliver on Cardano, and deliver their product there and then move to another chain to allow people on that chain to use the product as well while still supporting what they've built on Cardano, I have no issue with that, and think in lots of cases it can be a good thing for projects that came in, raised funds within Cardano, use the Cardano community to get their start, to build up their profile and everything like that, and then rebrand and move somewhere else. That's not good enough. That's I know it's harder to build on Cardano right now, which I'd say most developers will tell you, yes, it's harder to build on Cardano than on other chains. It's getting easier over time. Things like the PAB, which we talked about there a few minutes ago, definitely make things easier. And over the next few months, you look at Icon with the ability to build smart contracts in that now. That's from talking to developers. It's meant to bring a lot of improvements there for certain types of needs. So things like that will make it easier. But projects that raise money and then just go off, rebrand, and think it's fine to do so, it's a shit thing to do. It's not going to go down well.
No, it's a red flag for me, and one that I haven't forgotten. I think Mel did it, where they went off and built a bridge randomly. And I thought, and the whole idea was to bring in liquidity. And I thought that was a really, really bizarre decision, considering the whole idea was to build it on Cardano, get everything running, and then branch out from there. So, but they're still here, they're still building. So there's two sides to it, and they came back on track, and maybe they realized they made a bad decision. Who knows? But you led me up onto the next second part of this topic, which is a more of a positive light, was Wanchain. Yeah, I think you know a bit more about this than me, Paul.
Not a huge amount. I was only starting to read up on it just before we went live. And Wanchain it's crypto has been around for a long time. It was around, as far as I remember, even back in not the last bull run, but the one before that. If I remember, the name is very familiar. But it's all about building bridges, trusted decentralized bridges between chains. So they're going to be on Cardano 360 tomorrow. From what I've seen, that's where I seen it announced actually and started reading into it. So after that one, we'll have more information. So I'll probably have some highlights or bullet points from it in my catch up on Friday. That's the one I put out every Friday, kind of the latest news and events within Cardano. So I'll know more on it at that point. But it's looking into being able to move, as you can see there, move your ADA to any EVM chain, move ADA tokens or ADA, and then moving ERC20 tokens from an EVM chain to Cardano as well. I'm not sure of how the bridges actually work here. Bridges, I'm always a little bit wary of bridges anytime you're putting funds into them, because for people who don't know how they work, if you have a bridge, you want to move assets from one chain to another, then what you do is you essentially lock the assets in a smart contract on one side, and then the new assets are minted or unlocked from a contract on the other side. So all the time that that's happening, the original assets you put in are locked in the smart contract on, let's say you move from Ethereum to Cardano, they're locked in the Ethereum smart contract. If that contract gets exploited, then the funds get stolen out of that smart contract, which we've seen with, what was the one? Was it Nomad? The Nomad bridge that brought stables. Yeah, it brought stables into Cardano first. The bridge got hacked. So the USDC, would say, that was in there was gone. So then the wrapped version of USDC on Cardano was worthless, really, because there was nothing sitting in the contract to back it up. So I'm not sure. I haven't dug into one chain yet. I will do over the next few days, and Cardano 360 will put some spotlight on it tomorrow. But anything that's looking at this and building, allowing cross-chain is going to be good for the future with side chains for Cardano. This is something, again, not everything needs to be on the L1. So having this option, and as far as I've seen with the toolkit from IOG so far for the side chains, the movement of assets between the sidechain and the L1 is going to be a lot more secure than some of the bridges we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and pretty seamless, which is very important. The key point that I've highlighted on this, which I think will be interesting, is moving tokens to any EVM chain. It's going to be interesting to see if any of our stablecoins leak out in that manner. If that's going to be a route out for them, or are they going to just simply be, is there going to be ERC20 token variants? It's going to be interesting to see. And we're looking forward to Cardano 360 tomorrow. It's not that we haven't had any great ones in a while. I think that this one is starting to, get me excited. Things have been a bit dull for a while. I'm not saying not a lot of things have been going on. They obviously have. But tomorrow's is going to be, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they've definitely been a lot quieter over the last few months. Not as many big announcements coming out of them. But they're going to be talking about Hydra tomorrow. They're going to be talking about this, and I think there's a few projects on too. I can't fully remember the list, but I'll be checking that one out tomorrow evening.
Yeah, awesome. It's good news, though. It's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's good. There isn't much space left in crypto for being a maxi and thinking everything has to be on one chain. If you're going down that route, you kind of look over at Bitcoin and Bitcoin maxis and see how stuck they are in some degrees in their thinking. And this is across any chain. Nobody should be a maxi for any one chain. My channel has Cardano in the name, but I'm not a Cardano maximalist. I don't think it's not good for your thinking or for your portfolio either to be stuck into one.
And just while I was on that, then I'll just share this screen, which is the 360 tweet. So it's tomorrow at 4:30 UTC time. I recommend people tune in. It should be good fun. Okay, I think that's my Cardano topic ton. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw them in. Or if there's anything you want us to chat about. If not, I'll give it a couple of minutes, but we can have one or two more topics, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, Roki, good to see you here. Roki's won for every week, I think, at this point. Saying it's too hard to develop on Cardano reminds me of the N64 development and gaming. Really, just weaker devs that would complain and put out bad product. I don't fully agree from talking to quality developers on this as well. It definitely has been harder to build on Cardano because a lot of other chains are EVM chains or EVM compatible, or there's some connection back. So there's lots of resources there, and there's lots of developer tooling to use on a lot of these other chains from the past that new developers coming in could use and could pick up fairly quickly. Where Cardano, we're still developing the tools. Like a lot of the tool sets, like the PAB, it's something that's only coming out now. Up to this, projects had to waste, don't know if that's the right word, but use a lot of time to build the tooling for themselves in order to help their projects along. But we're getting there. It's getting better, new tools and better developers coming along all the time too.
Yep.
Anything else? The inter-wallet communication system, the wallet-to-wallet messaging system, integrated into a simple app for hooking people up with other ADA users. I forget the name of that as well. Mercury.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Is it Mercury Chat?
Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't heard of it, it's a messaging system. You can log in with your wallet and you can send messages to other ADA wallets. Now, the other wallets have to be connected to it as well, as far as I know. Now, you're not giving the chat app access to your wallet. You're effectively verifying your wallet with the app, and then you can send your messages through that. But it's good to see, because it can leave wallets anonymous. If we could get to the point where you could have notifications in something like Eternal or some of the wallet providers, where they can kick off notifications if you get a message to your wallet, then if someone has an NFT that you are looking to get, you can effectively approach them like that. You could send the message through it with your bid or your offer or question, whatever you want. If you send funds to the wrong wallet, you can send a message and look, there's no guarantee you can get it back, but things like that, you might be able to get them back. Let me see. Narratively, that's exactly what happened in that generation of gaming. Nintendo had to develop tools from the silicon graphics chip that was unique, and most gaming devs only knew X. Yeah, so in time, it's going to be there. It's just not as easy right now as everyone would like. If you're determined and disciplined, you got the job done. Yes.
What I would say, you could probably relate it to app development for mobiles, and how that's transitioning into. Previously, everybody was doing native, and I'm talking very recently, native Android, native Apple. Now there's toolings out there that allows you to generate for both, and also has the tools, whether it be a calendar, whether it be any other embedded things you need in that app. It's just someone has built the utility for it, and all those little things gradually grow with an ecosystem growing. And then someone comes around a couple of years well into that ecosystem being around, they can generate things a lot quicker, and it's speed to market dramatically improves. That's why the Genius release, I think, is good, and we need to see tons more of those.
What else we got here? Interoperability. Any other interoperability projects for Cardano?
Not that I'm aware.
What do we talk about? So actually, see 56 Hopper mentioned multi-chain working to connect to Cardano. Yeah, the last I heard was they had a bridge coming out for Cardano, and that would be Cardano to Ethereum, as far as I remember. But haven't seen much on that, or much official comments on that in the last while. Hopefully we do see that. That brings more interoperability, allowing you to bring assets. We do have the ERC20 converter, which I think initially was expected to be a lot more than what it currently is. You can bring across your AGIX and NewNet, across NTX, across from Ethereum to Cardano. That type of bridge is good because what it does is it burns the assets on Ethereum and then it mints the assets over on Cardano when you do it, or vice versa if you go the other way. But not every token or asset can be used through it because it depends on the contracts that initially created the tokens on the Ethereum side, because you have to have the mint and burn functionality built into it, and some don't have it. Where else have we got? Roki, you could argue Cardano ecosystem is far more supportive, having EVM tools already. Cosmos supposed to be connecting to Cardano. Seen something on that. I know World Mobile are probably part of that because they're using the sidechain toolkit. They're not building on Cosmos, but they're building the using the Cosmos SDK. So whatever they will be connecting to the Cardano L1. So whatever is built there could potentially be used for others that are using the Cosmos SDK.
Yeah.
AxoTrade will bring in financial institutional firms to Cardano end of this year. I think AxoTrade definitely have some massive potential. It's one I'm really looking forward to see going live, and they can bring in that financial, the bigger firm side of things. I know when I talk to Yarrick, they definitely are looking at that side, and that's why they're so conscious of the KYC side and regulations. Haven't heard much on them lately in terms of launching, and I know he said at the time people are asked when it's going to launch, and all he would give is when it's ready. So I'm not sure.
That's it.
What? Yeah.
When it's done, it's done.
Yeah, that's it. What's your other topics? Normally we try and cut
what I do based off because of time, we'll do one more. And the other ones was just on Binance, but everybody's doing on that and chatting about it. But the one I wanted to bring up, and it's a bit of a, it's just a bit of a closing topic to ramble about and to give people food for thought, is, let me share my window.
On nulls, actually, just while Paddy's bringing that up, I haven't heard of nulls connecting to Cardano. Not an ecosystem I've looked a huge amount into.
Throw up the screen here when you. So you can see that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a petition per se going around, and a lot of Elon Musk has signed it, and a few others have recently signed it to pause huge AI projects that are all ongoing, and I think it's very interesting and it's fun to talk about, because is it, man, I was playing with GPT, I can nearly say that, the other day, and I was asking all sorts of stuff, and it was mind-blowing, and some of the stuff they have coming is better than that, stronger than that, smarter than that, and you're going, where does it end? And I think that's what this petition is saying to do. Stop. This thing is it's taking over. It's doing everything, and people are using it for everything, and using it for universities, using it for law work. They're using it to find precedent. They're using it in figuring out what's wrong with people by putting in all their symptoms. So it's massive, and I think it's awesome for humanity and the advancements that it's bringing to humanity, and as everybody's worried about the jobs it's going to replace. Everybody's job's gone. AI does everything. AI is taking over the world. And my job's gone. Paul, we won't be needing them more. They're going to generate sort of AI bodies and just come on every Wednesday and talk. So we're not going to be
hearing that already. I've seen people create their own characters and automate them through AI. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's taking over everything. So this is a worrying plus an interesting thing to happen, where Elon and a few others, I have to get the names. I was looking for the names, but it's basically a petition to put a halt on all things AI, and it's done by the Future of Life Institute, and they're trying to say we need to we need to put a box around this, and so that we don't have, what do you call the AI in Independence Day? Damn, I'd be really bad at quizzes.
Skynet. Oh no, that's
Skynet.
not. That's in Terminator, isn't it?
Yeah, Terminator. That's the one. Terminator. Sorry. We don't want Skynet happening, and it is a bit of a warning to us, but you can see how it's coming by. And there's been all these rumors and talks that, they let the two AIs converse with each other, and they're humans conversing with the AI, and they're actually showing signals of being a sentient sort of being and able to think for itself and know about its situation. And that's going to come. They are going to be able to create something of that level. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. But I find it very interesting to say, hold on, we gotta relax for a minute. And with Elon signing it, is that out of fear? Is it because there's someone finally smarter than him, which is the AI? I don't know. That was a bit of a dig. I was only joking. I just think it's cool. What do you think, Paul?
I think Roki sums it up. It's too late. The AI cat is out of the bag. Why would companies that are on the breaking edge of innovation in this stop? And not every company is going to stop building. So why would some of the ones that are on the breaking edge of this stop now at this point? If you look at even things like Midjourney, some of the, should that be the other way around? ChatGPT in the back and
probably.
You look at Midjourney, you see some of the image generation. I seen one today of, I should have saved it actually to bring it up here, but people who use the same prompt on version 1 versus version 5, and it's incredible. Like version 1 looks like a kid just drew something, where version 5 looks like a real person, looks exactly like a photograph. So that's just in, I think that was maybe 9 months or something between the two pictures. And even in the last 3 months, it seems to be getting faster and faster, the evolution of this, and things like Chat GPT teaching itself. So version 4 was trained using version 3.5 or 3 or 3.5 was used to build the latest version by training. So it's only getting faster. It's not slowing down, the innovation that's coming out, and it's really exciting, but also I suppose scary at some level on how smart these things are actually getting. And these are the public versions. Like, this is what's been released out to the public. There's a few guys I follow on Twitter and on YouTube, and starting to consume a lot more of the AI content. And it's crazy, the different tools that are coming out all the time for so many different types of things. Like, it's even, you're looking at Word now having integrations with AI, or emails having integrations where you add a plugin to your email and you tell it, write me a response about whatever it is. You give it a few key points and it'll write a full email for you, replying back. Or if you want to send a legal letter to someone, you can put in the actual points. It'll create the whole script for you and send it off. So if they actually come back with a response to you, you can plug that back into the AI Chat GPT or whatever one you're using, and it'll come back with more responses based on that, remembering the whole history. And just, it's crazy where it's going to go.
What I seen a guy do today was he went to Chat GPT and he asked it to write out an entire script for a presentation, and then was able to, what he was saying is, what I can do with this and what's coming with Microsoft is I can take that whole script and ask ChatGPT to make it into notes that could be PowerPoints. Then you could bring that into Microsoft PowerPoint and ask Microsoft PowerPoint with its Copilot to create the PowerPoint presentation. And then that's all your work done for you in 10 minutes. All you got to do is remember the words. And that's it. It's like,
yeah,
it's massively life-changing, but it is what it's here to help us. So I find it a very interesting topic. Where it goes, I don't know it, and I've been playing with it. I've been playing with image generators, and and I was trying to find one. There's one I downloaded, and I think I was giving it a description of a sort of Shamrock man, and I'm just going to show it, but I think it's more of it's probably you, Paul. So let me share this. There we go. It looks a bit more like you than me, I think.
Did you give it to you as the base image?
Yeah. And I was like, so generate this, and typed in a few texts and blah, blah. And it's like, okay.
Maybe a bit of a cross between us, or...
So it's like, it's what it generated anyways. And it generated loads of different things and loads of different types of looking fellas, which don't look like me. But hey ho, it's fun, and I enjoyed playing with it. But that's only the beginning. And for me, I don't see anybody stopping AI now. The Chat GPT is flying. The amount of people I know using it. Friends of mine using it for their day jobs, for creating the content for emails, salespeople, asking ChatGPT for their pitch, and it's just awesome. And it's taking over, and there's no stopping it. It's too useful.
No, it's becoming like, it's outside of just the random image generation, and I suppose people using it for research. Like, you see the name there, PAUL, as a name for your creation there.
PAUL.
When you see it being used by the normal everyday user and actually being useful in their daily jobs and what they can do, then there's no stopping it. And these are the public facing tools. You can only imagine the type of stuff that they have, some of these companies have, that are behind closed doors right now. You were saying about PowerPoints. I was reading on a forum today, people asking about different tools, and they were saying for creating PowerPoints, you can do it all through ChatGPT if you just ask it to create the VB code, so the Visual Basic Code. If you ask it to create the PowerPoint in Visual Basic Code, you can then take that code, pump it into PowerPoint, and it'll create the full PowerPoint for you. So it's crazy.
Yeah. And I was chatting to some guys today. So they're connecting, they're creating a plugin for ChatGPT to pull data from Cardano. So it'll be interesting to see what people use that for. I think the idea is that this, like ChatGPT, it just needs data, and you can do anything with it. So you can, if it has access, once it has access to that data, people could do research, they could check things, they could create presentations, reports, all sorts of madness, and even just asking questions about Cardano. Who needs a chatbot when you can go to ChatGPT and ask it anything about Cardano? That's us removed the game, Paul. We're not important. I think the last point I had on it was I had played with GitHub Copilot, which was kind of the first AI-based programming language learning. And it did scare me at times where I'm writing something brand new, a new bit of code for something that I needed to do. And I would write a line. I would just sort of describe the method, put in a bit of pieces, and it would know what I'm trying to do. And it would give me a recommendation for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. And I'm like, press enter. Okay, that's that done. There's something that probably would have taken me 20, 30 minutes, think about, put all these in, like done. And the new version is coming out, which is meant to be even more advanced and stronger. So there's a part in where the software engineer community are going, well, what is my job anymore? Well, there's got to be always someone there to do something, but it's probably they won't be writing as much hands-on code anymore. But it's just another variant. So there's no way of putting this back in the box. There's no way. Everybody can sign as many petitions as they want. It's not going back in.
Yeah, it's like the internet. When the internet first came out, and people tried to stop it, but it just exploded into what we have now. So and this AI is on a completely different scale. It's once you give people access to this and they see how useful it can be, then there's no going back. See this one here saying about Ben Gortzel. He's from SingularityNet, had an interesting response on the AI petition. He definitely will be someone who's in the know. I'll check that one out. Charles also released a video on it today, going over the importance of blockchain as a regulator of AI. So I didn't see Charles's video on that one. Roki says, check out Notion AI. Haven't seen that one. Not sure what I'm typing in here. I'll do it on the other screen for now. Ultra capable teammate. Okay, I'll take a look at that one after. It's for presentations and for tedious work tasks. Could be interesting. Thanks for that one. What else have we got here? I think we covered most of our topics.
Yeah. I think I've covered everything I wanted to go over.
If it should be pause on AI, and ChatGPT outlined a number of concerns and how they could be mitigated. Yeah, and actually on ChatGPT, it only has information up as far as sometime in 2021, and it doesn't have access to the internet yet. If you look at things like Bard, which is Google Bard, it has access to the internet, and Bing, the Bing version, has access to the internet as well. I don't think they're as good, and maybe that's because there's so much information out there on the internet. They're still being trained how to actually process that. But these are the early versions that we're looking at. It feels like these are really advanced models and everything. But even in 1 year, like normally we're used to saying in 10 years' time, we'll look back and see how basic what we have now is. I think in 1 year, we'll look back and think what we have now is so basic compared to what will be here.
Yeah. I love it. I really love it. I want to see it going crazy, taking over the world. I'll hire an AI to do my job, and then I don't have to do any work anymore. Is that what you're saying? Or maybe the people who employ me just replace me. I guess that's probably more like.
I think instead of having a team of developers, you will have one, maybe two developers that use. Your team will be AI, and AI will be developing. But rather than, like you saying there, the AI will write 10, 15 lines of code, and you just scan it and make sure, oh yeah, that's actually right. And then it will keep writing. So rather than you having to write all of the code, you will be more the verifier or the tester that's just making sure the code is all right. So,
you reminded me of another one. So, there's one that I've seen. I can't remember the name. And it's all to do with UI design. So your interface design on apps and websites and everything that you sort of interact with. And you can describe to it what you want for an app or a website, and it'll generate you the design for like your Figma sort of. It's an online web sort of management tool for getting your design.
I think I sent you that one a week ago, actually, on or one of the versions of that on creating apps or websites from it, and it creates the Figma.
Will you look what to give people a bit of information? What usually goes on with that is you get in a room or you get on a Zoom and you go, okay, what's our login screen? Going like, put this here, put that there, and do this. Put a Twitter logo here, put this there, put that there. There's 2 hours, 3 hours maybe, depending on how long people want to talk about certain things. Even before that, actually, we'll create a color palette. And we'll use these maybe 10 colors for this, and this is all our color palette. There's 3 hours deciding all that. It has to all link up to the branding and discussion of all that. Then you finally get onto the main screen on day 2, which could go on for a week, 2 weeks even maybe. And then before you even moved into every little sub screen and every little button click and how that flows and how that all works, you're able to go to this tool that you sent me, describe what you want on each page and what you want it to do, how you want it to look. It generates it all. And you're like, okay, that's done. How long could it take you to describe it very clearly? Maybe 1 day, and that's it. There's no 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, even 6 weeks, depending on how complex these things could be. I've said it, for designing really big systems. It is revolutionary, and I can't, I really, really excites me. I love it.
Yeah, or like you get everyone in the room and you're sitting there and you have one screen up with whatever the AI tool is you're using. You give it the description and it generates it instantly for you. And if someone in the room is like, that doesn't really fit, then you just change the prompt slightly or get it to modify certain colors, and you could get through a few weeks work in a few hours, because rather than you deciding there, okay, this probably will be good and this will be good, and you give it to the designer and he goes off and spends a few days designing it, you just tell the AI to model it up within a few seconds, and then you can give instant feedback and you can just iterate through it. So it's hours instead of weeks to get to your final designs.
Yeah.
But
it's insane.
This was going to be one of our shortest ones. It's probably going to be one of the longest. But
there's all great topics, Paul. Come on.
Oh yeah, of course. I enjoy the AI stuff though. It's really, really, really interesting side of things. I'm going to mention one last thing. If anyone has a last comment, or if you haven't given the video a like here, then please do so. If you're new, subscribe. We're here every Wednesday, and I generally throw out a few other videos. Paddy's channel is in the description down below too. But something from an Irish company, completely non-Cardano related, this year was awesome. Literally turning waste or cow shit into Bitcoin. And it's by an Irish company. They are the company that set up, this is a farm here in Ireland, up in northern, I think Armagh maybe is where they said it was. But basically, Skilling Mining down in Cork have set up a remote mining operation. This farm here uses waste. The waste produces methane gas, which is then converted into energy. They sell a lot of that back to the grid, but the grid doesn't always need all of the energy that they're producing, and it's all produced by natural waste from the farm. So what they're doing is they have a little unit. You'll see it showing up here. This box here is full of Bitcoin miners. So all of the excess power that they're generating that is no good for anything else is used there to generate Bitcoin. So I thought it was a really interesting thing to see come up today. They'd be good guys actually for a non-Cardano video to do at some point.
Definitely.
On the channel here, to talk to them as an Irish, a very innovative Irish company.
Yeah, and I think when I was reading into it, I think they have targets to try and reduce the amount of emissions, because Ireland's full of cows. Everybody knows that. There's so much grass. It's just cows everywhere. So they're looking, if they were to try and meet the targets, it's like 1-point-something million cows would have to be gotten rid of. Now, that's a lot of steaks. We're never going to eat that many steaks. So this is one initiative that they believe can help alleviate, the burning of that methane, to make use of it rather than simply letting it escape into the atmosphere. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a very smart idea too, and very useful.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good idea to come up with. And I suppose if they're saving emissions from generating more green electricity through farming like this, then you're creating more green energy. You don't have to burn as many fuels to create energy, so you're saving on that side too. But definitely gone way over time. Appreciate everyone that joined in here, got involved in the conversation. Which
that everybody that's stuck around.
Everyone that stuck around, listened to us talking shit, and literally shit there at the very end.
We're powering Bitcoin miners.
But that's it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Paddy, for tuning in. Next week, if there's any topics, might try and put out a post earlier in the week on Twitter to see if there's any specific topics people would like us to concentrate on, and might try and bring on a guest next week as well. We'll see how things go. I think it's good to have guests on different weeks. Some weeks might be just us, but to have guests on lots of weeks as well, I think it brings a different perspective into things, and people don't have to just listen to us.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
See you later. Bye-bye.